And as always, I have placed a link in the description down below to this tool if you'd like to look at this unit further or acquire one for yourself. And if you're not a dedicated car technician with a bunch of tools in your garage, you'll appreciate the small size of the SC204. This thing is so small I can toss this thing literally in my car's glove box and forget about it. And if you are a full-time mechanic, I think the size of the SC204 and its price makes it attractive over having to use a very large and expensive tool, especially if I'm just trying to check something quick and easy on a vehicle. And in addition to the scan tool, we get a USB cable for updating the scanner via the internet, and we get an instruction manual which describes the operation of the scanner, all the different tests and features that it can run, which is helpful to have if you have never used an obd-II scan tool before and want to learn the basics of it. And this is the Cgsulit SC204 scan tool. And the very first option is for us to be able to read any kind of trouble code that has been set in the vehicle. And those codes in some cases will trigger the check engine light, but in some cases it will not come up as a check engine light. And this is where the scan tool comes in convenient because we can look at any kind of pending code. For example, this one right here, P0135. That code has not been set, but eventually it will become a stored code, and being able to read it versus just looking at a check engine light is tremendously helpful. We can also erase the codes and we want to get rid of the check engine light. I don't recommend doing that unless the car has already been fixed. But also let's look at the live data function. Now the live data function is going to allow us to show data live from the vehicle, both in a graphical form or in a numerical form. And right now I'm pulling every single form of data that I can pull from this car, and as you can see, we have, for example, the engine coolant temperature. We also have short-term and long-term fuel trim, and any of this information can be seen in numbers, like I said, numerical, or we can choose to graph them. Now graphing a number sometimes helps so we can look at patterns or any issue that may be more easily seen in a graphic than in a number. And we can see that the graph automatically will adjust to the range needed. I just accelerated a little and the data went up, and you can see how the graph changed. Now eventually, as the engine comes down, you'll see the graph adjust again to show us a closer view of that data, which again will be very handy if you are troubleshooting a vehicle and want to be able to have this level of detail. But we can also record the data and then play back the data, which allows us to analyze it a little bit better. But we can also check whether the car is ready for smog or not, and we can activate certain tests if your vehicle supports them. And we can also look at the VIN number and pull information about the car's programming, which is going to be helpful if you're trying to determine if the car is still running the original software or if somebody has tuned the car. And the next option is going to be the DTC lookup, and that is basically a small library where we're able to input a DTC code into the tool, and the tool will tell us what that code is for. And if we go back to the main menu, we can also go into the review function, which allows us to play back the information that we have previously recorded with this tool. And finally, we can adjust some of the setup options, such as changing the unit and measure where you want the tool to beep and when you need to update the tool itself. But one of the most interesting features of this tool is the center button, the IM button, because this is automatically going to take me to if the car is ready for smog or not. I can access that function by going through a couple of menus and selecting options, or I can use this quick shortcut to find that answer. And it gives us a nice graphical representation. In here, for example, we want to see green check marks. If we have red X's, that means that we are not ready. And yep, we are definitely missing green check marks, so it would not be a good idea to take this car for smog inspection yet.
So remember, I have placed a link to the scan tool in the description below if you want to look at it further. And if you have any other questions regarding the scan tool, please put that in the comments down below. If you found any part of this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button and support the channel. Stay tuned as we have way more cool car gadgets coming up. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.